Caesar salad, 2 pizzas, and crazy bread for only $8.98. And that's what's shaking at Little Caesars.
Pizza, pizza.
This bench gets a professional finish with Krylon spray paint. No runs, no drips, no errors. Dries to the touch in minutes. The other brand's still tacky. Wow! What a game!
Good game, Mr. Euchre.
He's a lot tougher than he looks. For a fast, smooth, professional finish, get Krylon.
Some people may not think I'm the world's greatest actor, but I am the Sarah Bernhardt of car movies. I know cars, and I know Quaker State. Nobody protects your engine better. Against wear, against sludge, Quaker State is one tough motor oil. What?
This Michigan 400 race summary is sponsored by Quaker State. The Big Q is one tough motor oil.
After 104 miles here, we've had 5 different leaders. They've swapped that lead on 10 occasions. They're averaging 153 miles an hour. There's been that one caution period, and 3 cars are on the attrition rack at the present time. 3 cars out of the race. H.B. Bailey out of Houston, Texas. Stan Smith's car lost an engine, and Jim Sauter, the Wisconsin campaigner.
And Terry Labonte, now you can add to that, and also the Rookie of the Year last year, car number 68, Bobby Hamilton, has gone behind the walls.
They haven't put those up as for sure, but they're back there, and it looks like they are done, so put that count up to 5. Here's Mike Joy.
Well, the man who made that decision on pit stops, whether it was 2 or 4 tires for almost the whole field, was Larry McReynolds. And he didn't make that decision until Davey was right in front of him. You agonized over that decision for 2 tires or 4.
Well, yeah, we debated about it, and then what I was thinking, I knew there was some cars out there that could run 7 or 8 laps further than we could. We only changed 2. We come out on the lead lap still if the caution comes out. We changed 4. Caution comes out, then we're sitting there a lap down. So wear looks good on the Goodyear tire here, so I think we'll be good for change 4 about lap 85, 86.
So when the leader makes only 2 tires, that sets the tone for the rest of pit road. And anybody else who wants to get 4 may find themselves a lap down.
Already going a lap down is the number 11, Bill Elliott, and you see Bodine's number 15, Jeff Bodine, about to go another lap down. To Davey Allison in the car number 28. And another guy that could be in trouble here is Earnhardt. He's only about 5 seconds out in front of this car number 28 at the present time. So Davey Allison, who said earlier that this is the best car we've ever had, he told me yesterday. There's no question about it. It'll be hard to match the record that the old car 007 had that license number on it from that team, but he said this one can't do it. Doing it is right now.
You know, just before this pit stop, they were all bunched up. Davey certainly had a good pit stop, but he must have made good time getting in and out of the pits. And not only that, we heard Larry McReynolds tell Mike Joy they were going to take a round of bite out of the car. If they were a little bit pushy earlier and they got their round out, he's checking out on them. Now, whatever they did to that car has really improved on it, but he's just pulling away from them.
They're about to put a lap on Jeff Bodine. Bodine currently being shown in the...
Well, he's back, I think, 15th at the present time. Car 15 in 15th.
Boy, this is one of these lap cars, just like Bodine. He's got to run the hardest laps he'll run all day long. He's got to try to stay in front of Davey in case the caution comes out, but somebody as strong as Davey is, it's hard to hold him off.
The 007 car that won the 600, then went down to the Winston this year, was destroyed. Those pictures that you saw at the top of our telecast, and he won the Winston, crashed into the wall after coming across the line, $300,000 richer, but he didn't remember getting the checkered flag. The car certainly looks as strong as Davey Allison said it was just a day ago.
Here's your second and third place battle. Alan Kowicki still hanging on to second. Mark Martin hanging on to him.
And Waltrip stays 4th. Ricky Rudd in 5th. Rusty Wallace in 6th. Kyle Petty is 7th. Mr. September. Harry Gant is in 8th. Schrader 9th. Brett Bodine is in 10th. Hut Strickland stays 11th on the field. And Ted Musgrave just gets better. He's up in 12th spot right now, while Earnhardt is back in 3rd. A fair chance he may go a lap down. A little twitchy up here as we watch those pictures out of turn 4.
Look here, Davey Allison was not able to pass 15. They caught Morgan Shepherd, and Jeff Bodine went around Shepherd. Now Davey trying to pass the 21 car that beat him here for the August race last year. Now he moves on the inside of Shepherd in the Wood Brothers car and puts him a lap down. Morgan had moved back to 15th after Jeff Bodine got by him. But Bodine really fought hard to stay in that lead lap, and he's still there.
He pulled right up on Bodine just like he was mowing the grass, and then all of a sudden it went away.
Well, I tell you what, just talking about Bodine knew that he needed to try to run real hard laps, because just a couple of hard laps, if you catch a caution flag, it's worth 2 miles on this racetrack. So he's running some tough laps right now. Davey is going to try to put that car lap down. Anytime you're in a position to lap some of the contenders, you do it. And I guarantee you, Davey's going to try to put the 15 car down.
Did I say 300? Didn't he win $600,000 for Winston? It's a big pot of money.
Yeah, it wasn't that much for the winner, though. About 300,000.
Yeah.
That's enough for one match record.
It was enough to replace old 007, I promise you.
Right, even as valuable as that car was. Well, he's up there now working on Bodine again.
Davey Allison stays in first and draws away with 63 laps now complete. Kowicki maintaining that second spot and on a very strong roll. Allison coming into today's race as defending champion, leading in the point standings by 21 over Bill Elliott. Chris?
No, Ned and Neil, I talked with Davey Allison last night. He said how difficult it was to get his car right for this track. The sun's been out now about 5 laps. The track's heating up. I wonder if that might be his problem.
Well, it certainly can make a difference on a race car, Chris. There's no doubt about it, and how the tires adhere to the turn, and which will result in speed on the racetrack. And yeah, it's very possible with those only 2 tires that they put on the right side that might make a little bit of a difference once that sun has come out. Now he finally has moved around the car number 15 of Jeff Bodine.
Mike Joy?
Again, looking at the lap times of Davey Allison's pit, I don't think that he was running that slowly. It's just that suddenly Bodine was running pretty well. The fastest couple of laps that Davey has run lately were 41.99s and 92s, and that's when he was running right with Jeff Bodine. So I don't think Bodine was much holding him up. Also, Michael Krenifus, who's standing here in Davey's pit, he's the head of racing for Ford. And Davey might have taken just a little extra time getting around that other Ford. No, you wouldn't believe that, would you?
No, I guarantee you, Davey Allison is not asking Michael Krenifus which car to pass. He's just kind of picking them off one at a time. When you're driving those cars, the next guy in front of you is in the gun sights, and you're going for him.
Well, this is one of the top Ford cars that slowed dramatically going into turn 1. Brett Bodine in the Kenny Bernstein entry has slowed. He's going into turn 3 right now. He just went a lap down to the leader, but he's certainly not up to speed.
He had been running in 11th position, Brett Bodine. Problem there. Looks like the engine's a miss. 65 laps are now complete. Ford sweeping the top 3 spots on the leaderboard. Allison, Kowicki, and Martin. Then it's GM, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th at the present time, and 9th. With Waltrip, Rudd, Wallace, Kyle Petty, Harry Gant, Ken Schrader, 9th. Hutch Strickland Chevrolet is in the 10th. Misfire on car number 26, they're reporting. Looks like it may have swallowed a valve.
Yeah, it definitely sounded sick when he came by. He stayed out on the racetrack. We saw Bill Elliott go by him there. So he's going to stay out there and make as many laps as he possibly can. There goes Morgan Shepherd by him. But another bad day for Brett Bodine and Kenny Bernstein.
The Andy Belmont car out of Pennsylvania moving around. Staying in this thing. CBS Sports coverage of the Michigan 400 will continue after this message and a word from your local station.
You know, you get into fitness, you're likely to get an athlete's foot. And it could get pretty tough. The irritating itch, the painful cracking, the burning. That's when you want a medicine that acts tough. Tough Actin Tenactin. Tenactin cures even the tough cases of athlete's foot fungus. And Tenactin's clinically proven. No wonder it's the antifungal most recommended by pharmacists.
Got a tough case of athlete's foot? Get the medicine that acts tough. Tough Actin Tenactin.
They're toughing it out at the top of the NL West. Neon Deion Sanders ignites the Braves against the Reds. Next Saturday, 1 o'clock Eastern on CBS.
This is CBS.
If you're not eligible for group health insurance, call this toll-free number now. Perhaps you run your own business, or you retired early, or you work for a small company that doesn't provide health insurance. Whatever the case, call now for free information from Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Virginia. You'll see we offer a choice of major medical plans to meet your needs with up to $1 million in benefits. This is comprehensive major medical coverage the kind that pays for hospitalization, outpatient care, surgery, doctor visits, and much more. It's recognized and accepted by doctors and hospitals everywhere. And unlike other health insurance plans, your claims are filed automatically, so in most cases, you do none of the paperwork. Best of all, it's from the company that's been trusted by Virginians for over 50 years, Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Virginia. So call for free information on $1 million major medical coverage for you and your family.
Virginians under 65 call 1-800-662-9605. That's 1-800-662-9605.
Channel 3's guarding Miller and DiVincenzo, the I-Team.
This CBS Sports Special, the Michigan 400, is sponsored by Quaker State. The Big Q is one tough motor oil. Tinactin, get the medicine that acts tough. Tough actin, Tinactin. And by Pringles, so fresh, once you pop, you can't stop.
70 laps are complete. There's been but one caution thus far as we get these pictures from the machine being driven this afternoon by the great short track champion, Dick Trickles, who closes in on Richard Petty. Trickles' day, they lost a car out here attempting to qualify. It's running 19th.
Rusty Wallace has slowed coming into the pits. This is an unscheduled pit stop, fellas. Something is wrong.
That's the 6th position car on the field. Rusty Wallace, former champion of this race. Looks like an engine may have caved in on car number 2 as they cranked those GM cars. Remember last week at Pocono, a lot of them expired. Looks like the same thing may be true today, Ned, that they're twisting those GM cars so hard to catch those Fords. They got caught up with last week, and it happened again here.
They're turning a lot of RPMs. There's no question about it. Of course, when you crank them up, turn more RPMs, you're putting more strain on parts of the engine, valve train in particular, and we see we're pushing Rusty Wallace's car back now apparently into the garage area, and yeah, that can certainly contribute to the engine problems.
And I think the 2 races that Ford won, they realized if they, the Chevrolet won, if they turn them up, they could race the Fords. They cranked them for a couple of races, and then it bit them in Pocono, and they pull in a lot of gear here today. It's going to be questionable how many of them could run at that pace without slugging the valve train out of it.
As they work the 73rd lap, let's give you a running order through the first 140 miles of competition as Davey Allison continues to blast through this one, trying to win it 2 years in a row. Won it over Strickland last year, dramatic style, then came back here in August and had one of the best races of the year. Got beaten by some kid down around Hickory, North Carolina, named Jarrett, about 3 inches. The biggest standing ovation here that day, as I recall, wasn't for the guy that won it, for his father. They saved one up from Father's Day for him.
Well, it was quite a feeling, Ken, to the reception that the fans gave when we walked down from the broadcast booth. Well, here's Davey Allison working on Dale Earnhardt. He wants to put him a lap down. Earnhardt will certainly fight him as much as he can. He'll give him racing room, but he'll have to take it.
And remember that Earnhardt had just moved up into 11th spot with the failure on car number 2's engine, eliminating Wallace from the day. And here's Earnhardt putting on a spiffy little go here as he tries to stay in that lead lap. Right in front of him is number 30, Michael Waldrop, driving really hurt. Michael took a lot of abuse in that terrible crash that he had back here in qualifying. Right up here in turn 3 was where he went head on in the wall and shoved the whole front of that number 30 back about 3.5 feet, and it moved the interior of the car back several inches. Broke his nose, cut his lip, cut his cheek. Got about 14, 15 stitches in one leg, and he is one sore puppy, but he's out here today. He was in the hospital all day yesterday. Ben Hess tried to qualify a backup car. That was crashed in almost the identical spot. He backed it into the wall. So now they brought out this new number 30, which is really one of their better cars. It had set on the pole, I believe, at Dover, Delaware, and ran so well at Darlington. That's that yellow car, just the top side of the picture, getting run away from right now by Davey Allison as he tries to put the lap on Earnhardt. Here's Chris.
You know what it was? Yeah, I thought it burned a piston, but it broke another crankshaft. It's the same problem we had on Martinsville. And it broke again. It's too bad because the thing was handling perfect, running good. The Fords are tough, but RPMs weren't too high. Everything was fine. The car was handling good, but it just broke that that crank, so.
How tough is this racetrack on cars?
I don't think the track's rough at all on cars. The track's in great conditions. It's super conditions to race in, and why it broke another crankshaft, I have no idea.
That's too bad. Better luck next time, Rusty Wallace. Back to you, Ken.
10 cars in the lead lap as Earnhardt goes down a lap. No, does not go down a lap. Earnhardt fighting to stay in that lead lap and gets it back. Give it 11 cars in the lead lap.
I told you Earnhardt was going to make him earn it.
And I think we're seeing Earnhardt in the same mode we saw Bodine a while ago. Davey ran him down, then took several laps, and Davies ran Earnhardt down here. It's just a little bit harder to get around him, but as strong as his car is, he's probably going to get by.
Remember that Earnhardt was second in the points as they went to Pocono a week ago. And he had problem early on, about 14 laps in. Swallowed a valve on the car number 3. Ran around to a 24th finishing position, somewhere back in there. So he wants to stay up in that top 5, and look at him fight. But here comes Allison back on the outside to try and put him a lap down.
Well, that's some strength right there.
Yeah, that's horsepower. He did it, and now he does have that lap down. Fellas, while we've been watching all that, old Darrell Waltrip has sneaked up there into 3rd place, just keeps on coming.
Dave, you've been mentioning that from the start, and he's been strong since this race started. He's going to be a factor before it's over.
And he's closing on Alan Kowicki's number 7 right here in turn number 1. This at lap 77 in the Michigan 400. The old DW is on a roll, needs a win. Hasn't pulled it off yet this year. Could it be this afternoon? We'll see.
If potato chips are gonna cross your lips, keep them fresh, make them fine all the time. That's Pringles, not the Pringles. Not like chips in a bag, they don't stay fresh. It's a drag. Candles bagged with buster pieces. Get your hands full of greases. We've got whole crunchy chips, clean and crispy to your lips. Pringles, not the Pringles. Go for fresh because Pringles got them. Fresh, pop right to the bottom. Once you pop, you can't stop.
I know I should use a tartar control toothpaste, but mine tasted too strong.
Introducing mild-tasting Tartar Control Crest Smooth Mint Gel.
You were right about that crest. My mouth thanks you.
It's tough on tartar, soft on you.
Some people may not think I'm the world's greatest actor, but I am the Sarah Bernhardt of car movies. I know cars, and I know Quaker Stapes. Nobody protects your engine better. Against wear, against sludge, Quaker State is one tough motor oil. What?
This is where America gets together. Every weekend throughout America, there is great NASCAR racing.
I wouldn't be anywhere else.
Slide in, change your direction. Smoke 'em, bake 'em. Dominate by shit intimidation. Throw heat. Play the window, pastime of the nation. Baseball, baseball. Catch the fever now. Baseball, baseball. Let me show you how. Check it out. Catch the fever. Everybody catch the fever.
Everyone's talking about Murphy Brown.
Plenty of women have kids at your age.
You know any?
Well, I think there was one in the Bible.
Murphy Brown, Monday.
As they come around to complete lap 80, we are under caution for the 2nd time in the day. We believe it's for Wally Dallenbach's car. That lost an engine going down the backstretch about the same time Dave Marcus coming in very slowly in car number 71, but it is the 2nd caution.
Yeah, and Dave Marcus could not quite make it back coast in to the pits, and that's the reason for the caution. Let's go to the pits and Mike Joy.
Well, here's the man that's earned $990,000 so far this year, getting a chance for 4 fresh tires. Eric Horn and Joey Knuckles on the right side lug nuts. On the left, Raymond Fox the third, while Norman Koshimuzu dumps in gas. Danny Dickerson there with the catch can. Bringing that jack around quickly is Jeff Clark. Tires go back over and across the wall. You have to be quick even on these yellow flag pit stops to get track position, and Davey's going to have it. He's first out of pit road.
Davey Allison, who has the track record here for this event, at 174.728, the overall record on this track, 175.962. Allison just busted all those old marks. And looking very strong
of the key things that happened in the pits that time is Gerald Waltrip had a really good stop. The first 2 times he's been running good, but he didn't get out of the pits like he needed to. And this time he's right behind the second place car, so he should be right in the middle when he restarted.
And he had moved up on Alan Kawicki, was running third when he came into the pits and maintained that position when he came out with a good pit stop. And of course now they all have 4 fresh tires on their cars. We predicted that they would change. In fact, Larry McReynolds said they would take them 4 tires after the next stop, so they were able to do it under caution this time.
We've been talking about Darrell. Michael may well have a driver change in mind here in this caution period. Ben Hess may be getting ready to get into car number 30. '81 complete this time by. I believe that's Ben Hess ready to strap up right now.
It is.
Here's Chris.
Michael Waltrip has brought the car in the pits here. For Ray routine pit stop, but he's going to get out of the car and change driver. Here he is coming out of the car now. Michael Waltrip, Ben Hess giving him a hand, getting out. And Hess, the replacement driver. No words at all with... Let's go. We're going to get a word with Michael Waltrip here. He's getting out of the car. Oh, what a mouth on Michael Waltrip from Friday's crash. What kind of shape you in, Michael?
Just really sore, Chris. You know, it'd been different if I was running good, but we couldn't get the car to handle good or whatever. So just decided to get out and take a rest, be ready for next Sunday.
What about your knee and your chest?
They hurt really bad. You know, I stayed in the hospital overnight for observations, but it's just pain. There ain't a whole lot you can do about that. I want to wish my father happy Father's Day and say hello to Jim Pate watching for Pennzoil. I've had all these problems, but I guess that's life, huh?
That's right. Better see you next time. Michael Waltrip out of it for the day. Is replacement Ben Hess in car 30 heading out of the pits now. Back to you, Ken.
2 laps down, 25th position was where the number 30 was after the misfortunes that have trailed them around this 2-mile track. Pit stop was a long one here, well over a minute, almost 2.
You know, we talked to Michael Waltrip yesterday, and he said, you know, that was the worst wreck I've ever been in up here, and I can't help but think he forgot about Bristol, Tennessee. That wreck down there was the worst looking wreck I've ever seen, but the thing yesterday here really hurt him.
Hey, a couple of minutes ago when Earnhardt was trying to stay in the lead lap with Davey Allison, we've got some communication from that time that Ernie Irvin was passing along. Let's go to that and hear it when that great battle was going on. Dale trying to stay up there in that lead lap.
Watch Earnhardt, Davey. That's pretty good. I know Ken Earnhardt's doing a hell of a job. I wish he'd spend a little out. Yeah, I wish you would too, but he won't.
I tell you what, there's spectators out there riding around the racetrack. When your car's crippled like that, Ernie sat there and he's getting a good view of the race.
Best seat in the house.
Just bent up a little bit, crooked seat.
Morgan Shepherd of the Wood Brothers, number 21. Here's Mike.
Richard Childress owns Dale Earnhardt's car, and they took on 4 tires under green when everybody else got 2, so he was in that position to get lapped by Davey Allison. And now, Richard, you've made another change to the car on this caution flag stop.
Yeah, the car was a little too tight off the corner. We wanted to make an adjustment with the tires and on the chassis, and what it did, it caught us. We still hadn't fixed the car, plus we lost too much time on that pit stop.
He's got no choice now to run Davey hard and try to get that lap back.
Yeah, we've been trying to run hard, we just hadn't been able to go do it yet.
Coming around, they'll have completed 83 laps when they get green. It'll be Davey Allison in first, Alan Kawicki in second, Waltrip will be in third, Mark Martin in fourth. Running in 5th will be Harry Gant. In 6th will be Kyle Petty. 7th will be Schrader. 8th will be Hut Strickland. 9th will be Musgrave. And 10th, Ricky Rudd. Those are all in the lead lap. 1 lap down is Earnhardt, and he'll be fighting to try to get that lap back and hope for a quick caution.
Ned, we saw him earlier able to race with Allison when he was up to speed for a few laps, but I don't know that he can restart and be able to stay with Davey on the restarts. That motor's so strong, that 28 car.
Yeah, he's going to have his work cut out for him, but you can bet your bottom dollar he's going to give that Chevrolet everything it's got to try to get back in the lead lap and then hope for a caution immediately.
He's probably going to see a few RPM on his restart.
5-time Winston Cup champion. Earnhardt deployed on the bottom of the track. On the outside is Davey Allison as they come back to the line. and rambled down into turn number 1 before what looks to be a record crowd. Largest Michigan crowd, of course, is for Michigan football at 106,000. They may have topped it today.
Boy, look at Earnhardt go down on the inside. Davey Allison pushed up a little bit going into the turn. Earnhardt took advantage of him and has moved back out in front of him. Davey had him beat going into the turn, but Davey's car, I believe, just pushed up a little bit right in the center of the turn.
Yeah, it looked like he about pushed up. Davey lifted a little bit, and Earnhardt just stayed in the gas, and he's back out front, but he's going to have to work hard to stay there.
The battle is Earnhardt's to stay in the lead lap. Here they come, back to 190 miles per hour in our live coverage, Michigan International Speedway on this Father's Day. And here comes Davey Allison streaking to the inside. Down across the start-finish line, Earnhardt holds him off for the moment.
And this is, if you ever have a caution, sometimes it happens on these restarts when the cars are bunched up, so they're going to battle. He's going to try to put him down, and Dale's going to try to hold him off.
And remember, they're running radial tires for the first time here at Michigan, and it is a cold day. Somebody makes an error out there, just doesn't think for a second about those tires. They'll trip you rather quickly.
They certainly will. If they get loose just a little bit, the thing can be gone for you. Here's a battle for second.
There you see Kowicki on the high side in second. The 17 down low. Waltrip trying to pick up a spot.
And Davey Allison went awfully high, almost got the wall coming off of that turn. He might even lose the lead.
I think they touched. I think Allison and Earnhardt got a piece of metal between them out there.
Yeah, the piece of metal weighed 3,500 pounds. They were laying all over each other coming off turn 4.
And DW has taken the lead in the Chevrolet.
Ed, you've been predicting that from the start, and I'm telling you, he's awful strong. He's been able to gain on him. Now he's got the lead. See if we can hold it.
Now, while we were watching this battle, we said a moment ago that Wally Dallenbach had blown an engine. Apparently, he ran out of gas. He coasted around. He's back out on the racetrack now. So, for the Wally Dallenbach fans, he's in the race.
Caution was out for the 71 car of Marcus. Let's take a look at this.
Here they are coming off turn 4. Dale's running track. He gets loose. Davey had to lift, either run in the side of him, and that's when Davey lost that momentum. And these other cars, like Ned was talking about, were able to come up with the momentum and go right on by him.
There's the picture down at turns 1 and 2. For the moment, it is a Chevrolet out in front. Darrell Waltrip in the 17. Now he's trying to lap Earnhardt. Here's Chris Economac.
I'm down here in Darrell Waltrip with Jeff Hammond. Hey, Jeff, what'd you do to that car?
Well, just kind of decided we wanted to lead a little bit here, Chris. We've been running good all week, and Darrell's been real pumped up about running here in Michigan. So he decided he wanted to go up front and see what the boys had to offer.
You're the leading General Motors car now. It's a lot of pressure, isn't it?
Well, there's always a lot of pressure when you come to Detroit because, you know, it's the backyard of all the big manufacturers. And, you know, we're very proud to be able to carry the Chevrolet colors up front right now.
You're telling me in so many words he's been sandbagging up till now? Just say, was he sandbagging up till now?
No, we've just been trying to be, you know, pacing ourselves. It's still a pretty long race, and you turn a lot of RPM here. So we were trying to pace ourselves and not, you know, use up too much too quick. But now we're up there with them, so we're going to race them for a while.
There you have it from Darrell Waltrip, the new leader of the race in the Chevrolet.
But the new leader for the moment is car number 28, swinging back out in front. Davey Allison, bottom of the track. Kowicki comes with him as the Ford Chevrolet confrontation continues here at Michigan. Just to the east of Detroit, Jackson, Michigan, the area where Michigan International Speedway has drawn this tremendous crowd, as it always does. Facility of Roger Penske. Last year they had over 90,000 for this event. They've added a few thousand seats. I still think they're a touch shy of that overall record for the state, but they'll get it soon. Look at Davey Allison close in on Earnhardt. Remember that the number 3 for the moment is in that lead lap, putting 11 cars on the lead lap. That lap will be 89 complete when they come by this time, working toward halfway. Thus far, just 2 cautions in the event. Average speed way down from the record at 149 mile an hour average.
Then does that look like Darrell Waltrip, typical of him? You know, he was leading the race. They wanted to mix it up. He drops right back, and he doesn't fall any further back. He just sits there and rides. So he'll be a guy to deal with before this thing's over.
Yeah, I think he will, because especially after they ran a while, the tires got hot. His car seemed to even be better, according to the others, than when they were on fresh tires.
Darrell Waltrip has won here at Michigan twice in the August event. Never found victory here on Father's Day. That's won some $11 million in Winston Cup racing over some 21 full seasons, putting on a really good show.
Look at him coming on the inside of Kowicki, coming off the turn. His car is really working down low.
Earnhardt going a lap down to Davey Allison. as they work lap number 90 of 200 to be run.
Introducing Ford's newest car. It doesn't have a sticker price. There's no choice of colors. And it has to be driven 4 times the speed limit to be appreciated. The new Ford IndyCar. If you think our technology looks impressive here, just wait till you experience it down the road. Have you driven a Ford lately?
Last year, Davey Allison added something new to his car. It wasn't wider tires or a slicker shape. It was the same Haviland Formula 3 motor oil you can buy, straight off the shelf, to add more life to your car with complete protection against heat stress, starting friction, and engine dirt. Now, we're not saying it was Haviland Formula 3 that gave Davey the energy to lead more major NASCAR races than anyone last year and win this year's Daytona 500. But we're not saying it wasn't.
If you don't like the looks of your car, shoot it with Son of a Gun from STP. Shoot the dash, seats, tires, and roof. Son of a Gun protecting. Man, what a difference.
I don't need some fancy cologne to tell me I'm a man. I use Skin Bracer. It smells great, but it also cools and tones my skin. Confidence is very sexy, don't you think?
Skin Bracer Aftershave by Menon.
Today, performance cars come in a variety of designs, sizes, and even prices. So do Goodyear Eagles, the world's most successful line of performance tires. There are all-season Goodyear Eagles, new ultra-performance Goodyear Eagles. There are Goodyear Eagles for the classic and for the contemporary. No matter what performance car you own, there's a Goodyear Eagle priced for you. It's another reason we say the best tires in the world have Goodyear written all over them.
93 laps are complete. Davey Allison, for the moment, is the leader. Alan Kowicki finds himself, for the moment, in second spot. And Waltrip, who had led briefly, falling back to third, but stabilized right there about 2 car lengths back. Then it's Mark Martin and Harry Gant in that 5th position. There you see Kyle Petty running in the 6th spot, followed by Hut Strickland, Ricky Rudd, Musgrave, and Schrader.
Well, Hut Strickland, his car is being pushed behind the wall as we speak. Apparently has an engine problem. He was running in that 7th position. So now there are only 9 cars in the lead lap. Of course, Hut was second here a year ago, so this day not quite as good for him. And for the Bobby Hamilton fans, we mentioned earlier that he had gone behind the wall into the garage area, and he did for about 50 or 60 laps. He is back out there now, but many, many laps down.
Reviewing just a bit further back, it's Strickland. Strickland had been shown for just a moment in 10th. Now they've taken his number completely off the board, leaving Earnhardt 10th, Jeff Bodine 11th, Bill Elliott 12th, Sterling Marlin 13th, Dick Trickle 14th, Greg Sachs 15th, Richard Petty 16th, Morgan Shepherd in 17th, Derek Hope in 18th, and Bobby Hillen running in 19th. Rick Mast closes out the top 20. Incidentally, Charlie Glotzback, one of 4 drivers that was here for that very first race back 24 seasons ago. He's up in 22nd position today.
Jimmy Hensley is 21st, I should say. In fact, again, there are about 12 cars that are 1 lap down from the 10th position in Earnhardt all the way back to Brett Bodine, who is currently being shown in 23rd, but Brett is still not running up to speed. Apparently has lost a cylinder. 24th is Chad Little. 25th is Wally Dallenbach. Michael Waltrip is 26th. Hut Strickland now drops to 27th. He'll drop all the way off the board. Then 28th, Jimmy Means. Mike Potter is 29th. James Hilton is 30th. Dale Jarrett 31st. 32nd, Jimmy Morton. Andy Belmont being shown in the 33rd position.
$10,000 bonus coming up here at halfway. Looks like Davey Allison is on his way for that 10 grand pickup here at the halfway point. There's Alan Kowicki closing in on him here. And I'm sure that the spotter is telling Davey Allison that $10,000 is there. Those spotters are all up here on the roof just to the left of the start-finish line. up toward turn number 4.
Yeah, they got a grand spot, Ken. No better place they could be to watch the entire racetrack and see everything that's going on. And there you see them. There were 41 of them up there because there were 41 cars that started this race. The crowd has thinned down a little bit now because we have a number of cars out of the race. And once their car falls out of the race, those guys are going back to the dodger.
Very important spot for that particular set of birds roosting up there, watching carefully as those cars go around the track, and really being able to give a tremendous amount of help.
Oh, no question about it. He's another set of eyes for the driver. He's watching everything that's going on the racetrack, looking ahead for the driver. If there's trouble up there, he tells him before he gets there. And then he also, if he's doing his job right, he's watching, like Darrell Waltrip was coming up through the field. I'm sure that those front runners were being told, hey, Waltrip is running high, as Neil pointed out there early, and you might want to try that spot on the racetrack yourself because he's gaining speed there.
Somebody else clear at you, you know you've got room to move down. You haven't got to think about it.
When you're in traffic, he'll, when you do get by, sometimes the driver might not know, Neil, when he's clear of their car that he's passing.
As close as racing is now, Ned, that you rely on that guy just to say move over, it's clear. You can't see that right rear quarter panel, and they'll just slide in a little hole there. And also, just like Davey Allison in the 4 car early in the race, he'll depend on that guy on the roof. The guys in the pits can see the left side tires. They'll say left side look good. He'll call the spotter, say, what do the right side tires look like? He said they're up, there's nothing rubbing. So you use the guy on the roof way more than we ever have in the past. He's not a spectator anymore. He's a guy who really contributing to the race team.
Harry Gant, number 33, closing up on Martin in 4th spot. Let's go to Chris Economaki.
Okay, we're here with Hot, can you hear me? What's wrong, you know?
Yes, I think you might have dropped the valve. I'm really not for sure.
You're all alone here and all working up there. What about these cars? So many cars having engine trouble. Why would that be?
Well, yeah, you got to put a gear on them right now to make them run. You know, a big Chevy see the downfall of them right now. You know, you got to put a gear on them to make them run, and then when you have to do that, they don't have any durability.
Okay, there's Hut Strickland, another driver who looks like he's out of it. Back to you, Ken.
We're halfway in the event, Chris. 100 laps down, 100 to go. Davey Allison has led 60 of those 100, and he's just picked up a $10,000 bonus.
Not a bad lap that he made there, that $10,000, and you can believe that they are aware of that $10,000. It's announced in the drivers' meeting that it will be coming up, and so everybody keeps them posted on when it's coming up, and nice little paycheck.
Yeah, they used to stick a little note on my dashboard and remind me 10 grand at the halfway mark, and they certainly, you know, you set up in your racing for hundreds of thousands of dollars, but if there's 10,000 up for grab, they're going to reach out there and try to get it.
There's the battle for the moment. 4th spot, Mark Martin in number 6, and Harry Gant are after it. We'll be back with that story in a moment.
What are you doing?
Pouring on A1.
Before? Don't you do that after?
Yeah, but today I'm doing it before instead of after.
It looks different doing it before. Think it'll taste different after? Because before, you did it after.
Try it. Whoa, before you eat it all.
Oh, after you.
A1, it's how steak is done.
I'm a big man.
Why do so many men stick with Bic?
I'm a big man.
Because there's a Bic for every beard. Bic Regular, a great shave at a great price.
I'm a big man.
Bic Sensitive, Bic Baby's tender skin. Bic Metal, slim head, total control.
Yeah, I'm a big man.
I'm a big man.
Regular, sensitive, metal.
I'm a big man.
Need a fresh start? Get the battery that's proven to start over 50,000 times. Motorcraft. Motorcraft quality parts from Ford.
You know, I've messed up on a few relationships in my life, but there's one that's lasted over 35 years with a lot of help from Quaker State. It's tough on wear, tough on sludge. So Quaker State and I are planning on a meaningful relationship with my new car. So why don't you do the same with your new car's engine, and Quaker State will guarantee it for 250,000 miles or 10 years in writing. You think if I gave Lonnie the Quaker State deal, she'd give me the same guarantee? Quaker State is one tough motor oil.
This Michigan 400 race summary is sponsored by Quaker State. The Big Q is one tough motor oil.
After 200 miles, half distance, we've had 6 different leaders swap the lead on 12 occasions. They're averaging well under the record at 151 miles per hour. 2 cautions thus far. 6 cars have retired. The most important incident of the day was early on, around lap 3, turn number 2, when car 4, Rusty Wallace and Davey Allison, were in contact right here. And a correction is made, but no save.
So he just got too far out of position, Ken. He just couldn't save it completely, but he did save it from spinning all the way around in front of the big pack of cars behind him, kept it up on the wall, so it perhaps saved a major wreck.
Later on, Ernie Irvan talked to his crew about this incident. This is what we heard. Let's listen.
Sure good right there. It's kind of amazing. You went through the same corner, didn't hit no oil, and Davey did, huh? Well, is that what supposedly happened? 10 forward. I hit oil. He said he hit oil. That's the reason he got up in you. Oh, I guess everybody else is just much superior drivers than he was. I guess so. I think the TV said that Mulhern come over here and said that the TV clearly shows that he got sideways and got all over you. Well, you know, I knew that. I mean, and that can happen, but to say he got in oil, that sounds like a wimpy excuse to me.
Thoughts of Ernie Irvan after that incident up there in turn number 2. That sound like a racer to you, Neil?
Yeah, I tell you what, when you're on the dishing out end, you think of things to say. When you're on the receiving end, you turn it around. So, but there's only 2 people that really know what happened to 2 guys in those cars, and at that speed, anything can happen. It's hard to tell.
Working lap 108 with Davey Allison staying out in front, trying to win it for the 2nd year in a row. And there's the number 4 running some 32, 33 laps back now. Ernie Irvan shown in 35th position, tail end of the field, still trying to pick up some points out here as he makes his way around. He came into this event in 10th. Dick Trickle had been there earlier and then fell to 12th. This could really hurt Ernie out here. The interval between 1st and 2nd gets a little tighter, 1 3/10 seconds between Davey Allison and Alan Kowicki, with Darrell Waltrip a very steady 3rd, just looking over their shoulder. Here's Chris.
This is the big lead outside of Motown. Ford is putting it to General Motors here today. Rusty Wallace car out with engine trouble. Hutch Strickland's car engine trouble. And now Darrell Waltrip, the leader for the GM contingent with a broken valve spring, running a crippled car. Ford has the combination for this track, and has always had the combination here. They've stepped up the tempo, and the General Motors cars, and trying to stay with them, are suffering reliability problems. It's murder in Motown.
Down to the line they come. And there's that interval. Do we ever report on 17?
Well, Ned's listing right now. He's sure running a good pace. He might, if he's got a valve spring problem, it hadn't slowed him down a whole lot. But there's certainly some of the cars having problem with the valve trains.
Yeah, he has dropped back. He's still running 3rd, but he has dropped back from Alan Kowicki, who is running in 2nd place. It's hard to tell when he came by whether the car was running on 7 cylinders or not. But he is still running at a very good pace.
You know, whenever the Chevrolet guys stepped the pace up and put more gear in the car and were able to win some races, I think they kind of felt like they had found a cure, you know, to catch Ford, just to abuse the motors a little bit more. But then the next guy said, I'll abuse it a little bit more. And the next guy, then Ford steps the pace up, and now they've worked themselves into a catch-22 where they can go fast, but can they survive the punishment they put on the motors?
Well, certainly there's a limit to how far you can, how many RPMs you can turn those engines and still expect them to live. And normally the first thing that'll go in those high RPMs is something in the valve train, usually a valve spring.
Now you see the interval between number 17 Waltrip and Harry Gant, his Oldsmobile, working 4th position at lap 110. Harry Gant in 4th. With Ned Jarrett, Neil Bonnet, Mike Joy, Chris Economaki, I'm Ken Squire on this Father's Day here at the 2-mile Michigan International Speedway. It's a dandy. Davey Allison, for the moment, has the advantage. Here's the guy that keeps turning things around as the race wears on. Number 33, 52-year-old Harry Gant, who just gets better and stronger race after race.
Man, he's just getting into stride. It's about the time of the race that Harry says, I might as well just move on up a little bit. He seems to get stronger as the race goes on.
Yeah, he does. I think what happens that he doesn't weaken as the race goes on. He stays the same speed all the time. Doesn't qualify that well many times, but the car just seems to run the same speed, and usually others will slow some as the day goes on.
A lot of drivers will be upset when they don't qualify well. Harry just takes some strides and we'll race him.
Yep. Harry looks stronger than I've ever seen him. He looks like he's lost even more weight. Back when he ran modifieds, he had a little beef on him. That went away about 4 or 5 years ago. And now today, I mean, he looks like he's ready to go for light heavyweight champion.
Well, he's in great physical condition. No question about it.
He's made enough money to build more houses. He's working a lot more now.
CBS Sports coverage of the Michigan 400 will continue after this message and a word from your local station.
Ask anyone who's driven a Ford lately. Ask them about quality. It's one of the biggest reasons 5 of the 10 best-selling cars and trucks in America are Fords. The F-Series pickup, Taurus, Explorer, Escort, and Ranger. 5 out of 10 of the country's best sellers. It's quality that breeds success. Have you driven a Ford lately? It's more than just a question. It's an answer.
Frustration's okay when you're playing tennis, but not when you're close.
If a guy smells, it's such a turn-off.
Get a little closer with Arid, the anti-odor antiperspirant that helps keep you extra, extra dry.
Yeah, I trust Arid.
Dear Thompson's, I swear by Thompson's Water Seal. But recently, when it ran out, my son finished with another brand. Then it rained. What a difference. Thompson's beat it up, the other brand nothing. Thanks for a product you can believe in. Marvin Snoddy, Locust Grove, Virginia.
This is CBS.
At 7-Eleven, we look at convenience a little differently. Well, we know everyone is in a hurry these days. Well, almost everyone. What good is getting something fast if it isn't fresh? That's why our big bites are freshly grilled and our coffee is freshly ground. Which means you always get a fresh bite to eat without missing anything important. Well, almost anything. Where guaranteed freshness makes a difference. Oh, thank heaven for 7-Eleven.
Coming soon, the Casey consolidation. Casey is relocating several model lines. All the great new and used cars and trucks we had before at 3 locations instead of 4. Buick moves to Casey Chevrolet Geo. Casey Imports joins Jeep Eagle and Denby, and BMW moves south on J. Clyde Morris to Casey Honda. Casey is squeezing its huge inventory into 3 locations. 300 cars and trucks have got to go. Prices are slashed on every car and truck in our gigantic inventory. On-the-spot financing for immediate delivery. Save hundreds now before the Casey consolidation.
Channel 3 Eyewitness News, Hampton Roads' #1 news source.
The leaders, the faces of the champions, leading in the 24th annual Michigan 400. Davey Allison, defending champion, up in front. Alan Kowicki in second, winner last week at Pocono. Darrell Waltrip, the 3-time Winston Cup champion, in third. Harry Gant, who had such a great autumn last year, and Kyle Petty maintains the 5th position at the present time. The advantage is Davey Allison's, and he's continuing to develop a lead over Alan Kowicki. Darrell Waltrip, who's been running a very stable third, still is out there, but he's fallen back about another 10 or 15 car lengths over the past several minutes. And then there's a wide variable back to 4th spot where Harry Gant lies. It's about 3 seconds there. But it's still Davey Allison, who is blazing away from the field, blasting through the banking. We're at the midpoint of the season. It's off to Daytona Beach. They have next Sunday off. Then it's down to Daytona for the 4th of July. Let's go talk to some of the folks about what's been going on this season in the first 13 races as we come to race 14 today. Chris Economaki, what about the attendance this year on these Winston Cup events?
Well, the show is fantastic, and the attendance was very big at the beginning of the season. Right here today, every seat is taken. $25 is the cheapest seat, $65 is the most expensive seat. And when a family comes here, it gets rather expensive. Some of the southern tracks have seen a bit of a falling off of attendance, but it's still one of the best shows in sports. Right here today, 12 lead changes among 6 drivers so far. However, it does get expensive to come to the race.
Mike Joy, you've been to almost every race thus far this season. What about the car count in Winston Cup racing?
Well, Ken, though the competition is real healthy at the front of the pack, and there seem to be more teams capable of winning races, toward the back of the pack, things aren't all that healthy. This race and several others have barely had full fields. In some cases, they have had to call up and bring cars into the last second to fill the fields out. And a rule is supposed to go into effect July 4th, mandating a certain cylinder head for the engines in the General Motors cars. Some of the independent and lesser finance teams don't yet have those heads, and some can't afford them. So toward the back of the field, things are looking a little thin these days. And the cost of competing is, of course, going up.
Ned Jarrett, we've talked about this point battle they've had this year, and the fact that a week ago, 11 positions out of the top 15 were swapped around. We watched Potter's number 77 coming on the pit road. How about this point battle? Is this as good as it really looks on paper?
Oh, it's good. There's no question about it. You haven't. Davey Allison has won 3 races and he's either had feast or famine. He has finished in the top 5 positions or didn't finish at all, but he's ahead in the point standings. Now, Bill Elliott, I think that maybe has been somewhat of a surprise for some people because he is new with the Junior Johnson team. But they were Mr. March. He won all 4 races during the month of March and showed that, you know, he has the driving skills. Junior Johnson has the skills to put the car out there to win, and it surprised a lot of people that win that much that early. But yeah, the point standings is real and is exciting. I think it's going to be the last half of the season. We're going to see a lot of excitement as far as this championship battle is concerned.
Neil, it seems as though, looking in from the outside, that NASCAR has really designated some roles, defined them better than ever before, and that's why Gary Nelson seems to be working so well.
In the past, we've seen guys come in and they say, we're going to straighten this thing out, and it'd be a spurt of it. They'd get the cars as straight as possible, pull them right on the line. But every week, every track we go to, just like this week, we see fuel cells sitting all over the ground in the trailer.
That look like Swiss cheese.
Yeah, they've been drilling them out, putting more fuel in them, taking the foam out, doing different deals. Every week, Gary Nelson is on top of the situation, and NASCAR's inspectors know that if they do it, he'll back them up. And in turn, Billy France and the sanctioning body backs up Gary Nelson. So I think the policing is as strong as I've ever seen it, and that's when the competition closes like it is now.
The other thing is, as far as the morale is concerned here, that Nelson is now doing what some folks like you were talking about a season ago. All of a sudden, the plates in the back of the car are coming up, and the restrictor plates may be getting a little bigger, we keep hearing.
I think one of the big assets of Gary Nelson is going to be the fact that he was a car builder, a car constructor. He knew what was needed behind the scenes to make cars perform better and everything. And he's requesting more spoiler, more this, more that, and they're coming with it, and I think the teams really like it.
Well, that big spoiler plate in the back is getting bigger, and those restrictor plates, they may be getting bigger. That's one of the issues. There's Mark Martin now pitting as we're back to a green flag condition. And, of course, the biggest story as we move to the second half of the season starts tomorrow as we watch Mark Martin in car number 6 on pit road. Tomorrow, 9 of the best teams head to Indianapolis.
Ted Musgrave just finishing his pit stop. He got 2 tires, and I think that'll be the trend here. A lot of folks will wait and see what Davey Allison does. I think Larry McReynolds will put only 2 tires on that car, because if his car falls off just a bit with only 2 fresh tires, and he's the best car here, think how much everybody else is going to fall back if they only get 2. And as we said earlier, you can't take the time to get 4 tires if the leader only takes on 2.
Bobby Hillen just pitted in 20th position. Pit stops are the order of the day. We'll be back with more of the story of this and the Indianapolis testing tomorrow following these messages.
And isn't it true that this auto part did, in fact, come from the defendant's car?
Objection. Prosecution is leading the witness.
Overruled. You may answer the question.
This part most definitely came from that car.
And how can you be sure?
I work for Napa Auto Parts. It's my job to be sure.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Napa people are parts experts, so they can answer any question, whatever the case may be.
Brought just the essentials, huh? What? I think they'll have shampoo there.
but not have Head and Shoulders.
We're just going to be gone a week.
Right, a week. Let's say it's the end of the week. We're rested, a little sunburned, and this stunning brunette sits down beside us. And that's the day your flakes decide to show up.
Well, how do you know when they'll show up?
Doesn't matter. Head and Shoulders helps take care of the condition that causes flakes. Because you never know. You know?
Head and Shoulders, because you never get a second chance to make a first impression.
Of all denture adhesives, only one holds the strongest, and it's just taken a turn for the better. Fixodent's new Easy Twist Cap. It's bigger, it's a snap to open, and it's one more reason to Fixodent and forget it.
If you don't like the looks of your car, shoot it with Son of a Gun from STP. Shoot the dash, seats, tires, and roof. Son of a Gun protecting. Man, what a difference.
Well, I drive a race car for a living. I depend on the parts and pieces in my car. And I feel so confident knowing that Pennzoil is protecting the moving parts inside of my engine. Pennzoil's quality and protection give me the confidence I need to do my job without second thought. The protection that Pennzoil offers this race team makes us feel great. That's why I have the confidence to use it on the street and in my race car. I recommend Pennzoil to everybody. Pennzoil, performance, protection, quality.
Tonight on 60 Minutes, did you ever get zapped by a cop with a radar gun? Well, some cops are saying the guns are zapping them too. Find out how tonight on 60 Minutes. Then it's Murder, She Wrote, followed by the CBS Sunday movie, Stranger at My Door, starring Robert Irwin. That's all tonight on CBS. Well, we're 127 laps deep. Davey Allison, this moment ago, as he brought that big Ford on the pit road, leading. And as he made this pit stop, the others that were in there at the time came in. They put Darrell Waltrip into the lead.
Well, Darrell has since been in, and as Mike Joy predicted, Davey Allison only took on 2 tires, but the car number 7 of Alan Quick came in at the same time. He took on 4 tires. Darrell Waltrip just made a pit stop. He took on 4 tires, and so did Mark Martin.
One more stop for fuel to get us home here this afternoon.
Yep, they'll have to make one more pit stop, that is for sure.
Well, I'll tell you, that's Quickie went with 4 tires, and Davey with 2. That really put him behind, but maybe it'll pay off in the long run. But they seem pretty confident with the radials they can make it with 2 tires.
Riding with Dick Trickle, boy, he's had his problem. Ran out of gas, came down pit road, and ran out of brakes.
Evidently, it overshot his pits by about 6 or 7 pit stalls. They had to come out and push him backwards to fill it up, so he really had a tough time there. Lost a lot of time.
And lost himself some very favored positions. He had been up in the 14th and 15th spot. Now Trickle is having to look up from back in 25th position after problems on pit road in that car number 8 from the Stavola racing team. Bill Elliott just pitting car number 11. Rick Mast is on pit road at the present time. Bobby Hamilton is in as well. The leaderboard has number 28, Davey Allison, back into first at 17. Waltrip has taken the opportunity to come in there reporting.
Look at the wind really buffeting on the hood of that car. It had it all rocking around on the car. Big Trickle with high speeds it went in.
Jimmy Hensley coming down pit road right now. Let's go to the pits and Mike Joy.
Paul Andrews is taking a look, sticking the tires for the temperatures across the surface that they just took off Alan Kulwicki's car. Alan, as you reported, got 4 tires. Davey Allison, the race leader, only got 2. Now, they read these tires for an indication of how the car is handling and what they might want to change on the next pit stop. Paul, but taking on those 4 tires that really cost you in track position, but you had to feel that was the right way to go.
Well, we feel like the car needed the 4 tires. Maybe if it stays green, it'll help us out at the end. We'll just be able to put 2 tires on and go.
Well, that last pit stop, they'll look for only 2 tires instead of all 4 like Davey Allison might need.
Alan Kulwicki running in 5th, putting a lap on the 12th place car, Dale Earnhardt, at the present time. Let's walk back through some of the field out here, Ned. There you see the leader, 28, Davey Allison, commanding this event. This juncture a year ago, he was in a tremendous scrap with Hut Strickland. Hut's having his problems today. They cranked a little too much gear into that one. And for number 12, Bobby Allison's team looking up from under. Now you see the number 17 car being shown in 2nd place. That's Waltrip. Darrell Waltrip in the 17, going under Rick Mast in car number 1. Rick's car is running 18th overall on the field.
here's Bill Elliott and the car number 9, which is being driven by Chad Little. Elliott currently being shown in the 10th position, 1 lap down. Chad Little, meanwhile, is back in 23rd position.
Yeah, running now 3 laps down. There's the number 5 car, and that's Ricky Rudd. And he is running in the lead lap.
Third place.
Stable, looking good.
Yeah, he's running in 3rd place. He had a very good pit stop and has been moving up through the field. And we see Kyle Petty right. Well, there's Alan with you on the screen there now. Kyle Petty is right there being shown in the 4th position, and Kowicki 5th.
Battle for 4th right there, and Allen is closing with those Ford tires. He's sailing right now. This is for 4th spot. Kyle Petty on the high side, Felix Sabetta's team. Pontiac high, and here comes Allen just mowing him down on the inside. Kyle Petty drops back to 5th.
If somebody wondered why that big move was to the inside, he was up beside Kyle. If he had rode along right beside him, they would have ran along and been virtually a tie. He broke the draft and went to the inside and was able to clear totally.
And then there's the car number 8 of Dick Trickle. We talked about him there a moment ago. Lost a lot of time and currently back in 25th place.
Yeah, that was because of out of brakes and out of gas. Had a real problem. And here's Earnhardt. Remember that Dale is now being shown in 11th, right behind Elliott, 1 lap down from the leaders. Trying to get around Dick Trickle right now. It's tough going. A little further back in the field. And we're riding with Harry Gant at number 33. Remember, he's in the lead lap, shown in 6th position at the present time. He had a second back here in the early 80s. In fact, he's had a couple of seconds in this race. Still looking for the first win here in the Michigan 400. Harry Gant, number 33.
What a crowd. You talked about it close infield earlier today. It's packed.
And the next car we see there is James Hilton. James is pretty far back in the field, but he's nevertheless still out there running.
That car is a 1985 car. That's one of the old Davey Allison cars that was put together by the Stavola brothers.
Boy, a pack of traffic coming up on him. We saw Mark Martin, who, of course, is one of the lead lap leaders in 7th position, goes around James.
I think 55 is mixing up in here, too.
That's 15 car of Jeff Bodine. He's back in 12th position. Bud Moore's car.
They've completed 135 laps this time by. That 15 car, Jeff Bodine, in that 12th spot, being shown just 1 lap down. And there is Jeff. His Ford. Hoping to have a strong day. There's Jimmy Newton's.
Charlie Glotzback.
That's Charlie Glotzback in the Donnelly car. Boy, he's had some good runs here over the years. He was here in that very first race, as we mentioned, driving the Donnelly car this afternoon. Car number 90 for Charging Charlie out of Georgetown, Indiana, the good old days.
And right behind him is Ted Musgrave, who is having another great day in the lead lap here, currently being shown in the 8th place. He's already had 2 8th place finishes this year. First in the Daytona 500, and then again in the World 600, 2 of the toughest races on the circuit. Musgrave has been right up in there. He's been in the top 20 in the points all season long.
When we talk about Musgrave, we're talking about different manufacturers running this car and that car. He's ran every brand of car there is this year. Yeah. He's ran Fords, Olds, Pontiacs. He's got one of every one of them.
There's Derek Cope's car number 10. And Cope, at this moment, in the Whitcomb Racing stable team, is back in 24th position. They had hoped that things might go better today. Barry Dodson's the crew chief on car 10. He says this guy reminds him a lot of Tim Richmond. Says he thinks they've got a lot going for them down the road, but right now they're looking up from under.
Here's a Charger.
Hey, I'm sorry. But that's the car that was in Days of Thunder. That was the one that Duval said he was going to shape it and do everything. Barry Dodson said, well, it's good enough for Robert Duval, it's good enough for us.
Going a little farther back in the field there, Sterling Marlin was involved in that 3rd lap wreck. Ernie Irvin had his problems. Sterling back in the 13th position, 1 lap behind the leader. And then there's Bobby Hillen, car number 31, who started in 5th. They're looking for a sponsor for that car, being shown now in the 20th position. He's 2 laps behind.
International owner on that car. It's a car that was Team Ireland. Here's Davey Allison back in that lead. Let's look a little further back. There's 2nd spot. It looks like at this moment, as Davey Allison has the advantage, that car number 17, Walter, stays in that 2nd spot. Third is Cowick.
He just went around Ricky Rudd. He ran him down with those fresh tires and got around him in third place.
I think Rudd only took on the 2 tires, and so did the car number 42 of Kyle Petty. That did give him good track position for the time being, but those new tires, as you say, makes a difference.
And I know when you're sitting in that driver's seat and you come down pit road and they say, we're just going to take 2, and you're going to get 4 and everybody else is getting 2. You argue with them,